Rise and shine, it's a brand new day. Ken can take the stage, ready to play. Weekdays at 10, the cars and the scene. Coffee in hand, they're living the dream. Question in the voice, got the whole town awake. Bringing fire to the mic, make no mistake. Shows in the corner, spitting out facts. Dropping truth bombs, ain't holding back. Ken in the morning, feel the heat. From 10 a.m. CST, can take a seat. Live and loud, that break in the mind. Light up your speakers, crank up the sound. They're talking about life upside down. Opinions exploded like a sonic blast. In the studio, they're built to last. With passion and grit, they engage and ignite. Every single week, they're a force can't fight. From sports to politics,
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Ken in the Morning. Good morning, Fred. Good morning, Broski Bear.
Good morning, Ken. How you doing today?
Oh, it's hey, I'm on the right side of the dirt. So any day you wake up and you remember to move the mic and you're on the right side of the dirt, it's a good day.
There you go. It's a good way to start it off, man.
I'm telling you, Anna, hey, I got my cup of coffee. I hope you have yours.
I do. I absolutely do.
Ken must have missed his this morning, and Joe. But, you know, Joe is a little upset because the Dolphins did not get to go to the cave last night.
Yeah, they're denied. I mean, they don't win in the cold much, you know. When they have to play in December up north, as they say, they don't fare too well.
You know, it's funny with the warm weather teams because it always seems to be the rub. But it was funny 'cause I just watched the Raise the Flag on Amazon. I don't know if you've watched it yet. The 10-episode documentary on the Buccaneers. Pretty cool. Goes from 1976 when they started the league all the way up to the beginning of this year. They won some big playoff games in the cold. In fact, for both their Super Bowls, they had to go to cold weather cities and win the NFC Championship game.
Who are you talking about? The Bucks?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Bucks. Yeah, that was a different story, man. I'll never forget when they beat the Eagles in that one. That was awesome.
You know what's funny? I didn't realize this. Maybe I did at the time, but something I forgot. They won the final game at the Vet, right? They won the very first game at Lincoln Financial.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I remember that because I was actually at the game before against the Falcons when they played Mike Vick and the Falcons when the Eagles played in the divisional round. That was the Eagles' last win at the Vet. I was at that game. But yeah, that Tampa Bay team, man. They were quite a team, man.
Yeah, their organization. You know, you hear a lot of stuff about the Glazers because you know they own other stuff too. And some of the, you know, their Premiership League fans have been on them. But you know what? Watching that, it's like, man, it's hard not to like the Glazer family and what they've done with that Tampa team and just the way they run that organization. I'm like, they actually run it pretty good.
Yeah, no, you're right about that, and I totally agree. They do run that very well. It's a well-run organization, and yeah, I mean, some of the players they had on that D line, like Simeon Rice, that guy was such a freak, man. You know, a lot of people don't realize. I'm just going to throw out a fun fact for everybody that Simeon Rice, Donovan McNabb, and former NBA basketball player Antoine Walker all played on the same high school basketball team at Mount Carmel.
That's crazy.
In Chicago. Yeah.
Yeah, back when oh my God, the Chicago Public League. Oh my God, that's when like Simeon, King, Mount Carmel. My God, those teams. I mean, you had guys going pipelining to the NBA out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, some talent came out of there. You know, Isaiah Thomas came out of that area as well.
No, I was going to say Donovan McNabb. People forget when he was a freshman at Syracuse, he was their starting center 6'2". He played center because he was that strong. He could just create space and just jump and get rebounds, man. It was pretty crazy.
Well, DK Metcalf showed some strength last that his big boy touchdown. Oh my God. Bouncing off people, I mean, he had a nice touchdown yesterday. That was a nice score.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I mean that was a good win. Good win for Pittsburgh, man. They're a balanced offense, I'll say. Couple rushing touchdowns, couple passing touchdowns. Yeah, I mean, Jack Sawyer's going to have to start this week, but against the Lions. But Jack Sawyer was a hell of a player at Ohio State, man, and we'll see what the rookie can do if he can do his best T.J. Watt impersonation for one game.
Well, that's the big game. That's one of the big games this weekend. Huge
Where?
implications, obviously, for both teams, right? The Steelers, their only way in is to win their division. They need to win. The
Yep.
Lions, basically, they don't need to win out, but they need at least maybe 2 wins to get in at minimum.
Yeah, like you said, like mathematically, right as of right now, they don't technically have to win out to get in. In reality, I kind of think they will, but like you said, it's technically they don't have to.
It kind of depends on what the Packers do, right?
Exactly.
You've got basically 4 teams in this quandary, right? Or 5 teams to throw the Bears into it. You've got 2 teams that basically the winner of the NFC South gets in because they're at 7-7. So if they can't win out, one of them could win out and end up at 10 wins, and then the other one's just not out. But then that's the division winner, right? So that's the interesting piece of it when you start to look at it, because the Bucks and Carolina both at 7-7. They play each other twice in 3 weeks. In these final 3 weeks.
Yep.
So okay, let's say the Bucks win out. Okay, great. Then then they're at 10-17. Well, if the Lions end up at 10-7, then it comes down to tiebreakers. And I think the Lions own the tiebreaker on both teams. But are the Bucks going to beat, or Carolina? Are they going to, one of them get swept? You know what I'm saying? Or are they going to split those 2 games?
Yeah, that's a tough call, man. They're playing hot potato with that division right now. It's like one week, no, you take it. No, next week, no, you can have it. And then, hey, I'll give it back to you.
I mean, odds are they split. Right?
Odds are they split, I think. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I mean, the only thing that could be different, let's say Carolina wins the first game, and so then Tampa's so deflated they lose the next game, and the final game almost doesn't matter to them, and they just kind of whatever, don't even show up. Maybe that's how Carolina could win out. But if they win out, no big deal. As far as the Lions are concerned, who cares? Because they win the division, the Bucks are out. Now it's between the Lions and the Packers. So that's where the battle really is. And the other 10 win. I mean, look, I don't think San Francisco is going to lose out. I don't think the Eagles or that. They need everyone else to lose out is what they need.
Yeah, like you said, essentially there's going to be one team from the NFC South, one team from the NFC East. Those will be the division winners that make the playoffs, and that is it from those divisions. I was trying to explain that to Lions fans earlier, and they are having a difficult time grasping that. I'm like, guys, you really don't need to worry about the the Eagles or the Bucks or the Panthers. They're irrelevant to your playoff hopes.
Well, yeah, because you look at I'm bringing the standings back up again. If you look at in the conference standings, I mean, the Cowboys look at the Cowboys. If they win out, they're 9-7. So Detroit wins one more game, that's game over, right? I don't think Dallas is going to win it. Oh, they could, but then there are other possibilities. Seattle's already too far gone at 11 wins. So unless San Francisco loses out, and Detroit doesn't even have to win out. Actually, if San Francisco wins one more game, they're not going to get caught, right? If the Bears win one more game, they're not going to get 11 games get you in. Period. I think.
Correct.
So
Correct.
Green Bay's at 9, Detroit's at 8. The Bears beat the Packers this week. That puts them at 9-5-1. if the Lions win, they're at 9-6, so they're a half game behind the Packers with 2 games left. This is where the Vikings come into play for both teams because they get the Vikings and the Detroit gets them first, then Green Bay. They can play spoiler, and the Bears, of course, can play spoiler to the Lions too. Just beat them in Week 18 and be done with it.
Is an NFC West putting 3 teams in?
Yeah, if San Francisco wins one more game, look at San Francisco would have to lose out. They're 10-4. And right now, if I look at San Francisco's remaining schedule, which I'm bringing up right now, their remaining schedule is they get the Colts, they get the Bears, and they get the Seahawks. They're not going to win out. They're not going to lose out. If they beat the Colts and get to 11 wins, they're probably in. Because if you look at the playoff contending teams, Detroit's on the outside looking in. They're the in the hunt team.
Mm-hmm.
If they win out, they can get to 11 wins. But are they going to win out?
And then you get into tiebreakers and all that.
Right. And that's where it gets kind of crazy.
But
now,
you remember in the off season how we were all looking at the NFC West like, the NFC West might be a shitty division this year. And instead you're going to have looks like you're going to end up with 3 11-win teams in that division.
Because we all thought that the Niners were kind of done.
Yeah, we all thought they were taking a step back.
We knew the Rams were going to be good. We figured the Seahawks would be in second place, and after that, it was going to be a devoid of life. Right? It'd be devoid of life. Fred's like, hey, I get the attitude that look at Lions fans saying we have to win out. We have to win out. Fact is, you don't. Technically, you don't. But yeah, you kind of want to, because if you don't, now you're playing we're going to get in because of some tiebreakers and some weird stuff. And of course, people are saying too the AFC West schedule is easy. Maybe that was the case. They've played good ball overall. San Francisco, dude. Their wins. Okay. Let me look at their wins. They beat the Hawks. They beat the Saints. They beat the Cardinals. Okay, they lost to the Jags in a close one. Beat the Rams. Beat the Bucs. Lose to the Bucs. Beat the Falcons. Lose to the Texans.
Regular
beat the Giants, beat the Rams. Actually, and then they beat the Cardinals, but they beat the Panthers.
No.
Not all the Browns. They just beat the Titans. They haven't had the. I guess when you look at the schedule or the records, kind of an easy schedule. But coming into the season, we didn't think it was an easy schedule. But we also thought they were kind of held together by duct tape and bubble gum. So look at this week is huge, right? Going back to if Detroit loses this week, their only saving grace is they can still catch Green Bay, and they own the tie breaks. Right? If Green Bay loses out and the Lions win just 2 games, they're in. They have to catch Chicago. Green Bay loses this week, goes to 9-5-1. Let's say Detroit wins and goes to 9-6. It's a half game. Detroit beats the Vikings. And Green Bay loses their next game after the Bears. Now they're a half game lead. Now it's kind of dependent, if you're Vikings fan, you're praying for the Vikings to beat the Packers. But there's a couple of different ways they can get in. But that's about the only I think change we're going to see. Is what 2 teams do to North send? Is it the Bears and the Packers, or is it the Bears and the Lions?
Yeah, I hear you with that, man. We're getting close.
Is that pretty much it? There's no other teams on the cusp that can potentially knock the Packers out.
Well, you've got, because then you got the number 9 is 7-7. That's the Panthers, right? And the Bucs are 7-7. So whoever that division winner gets in, and they have the Cowgirls at 6-7. So if they win out, they're 9-7-1. The only way if the Packers were to lose out, the Lions don't win another game, or or if the Lions win one game, go 1-2, and the Packers lose out and the boys win out, now you get a tiebreaker scenario with the Packers and the Cowboys. Everyone else has been officially eliminated.
Yeah, you need a
So
lot of help.
they all need a lot of help. So right now, like statistically speaking, it's pretty much everyone is good as far as I mean, minus you got the whole Carolina, Tampa, whoever's going to win the division thing. So take that put to the side. As far as the wild card, it's basically going to be Detroit or Green Bay.
Yeah. And then now we get
out. If the Bears were to lose out and the Packers win out and the Lions win out, well then the Bears are out. So the Bears aren't completely safe.
no,
They gotta
they're
win.
definitely not.
About
Yeah.
They still need to win.
can the Cowboys catch the Eagles for the division?
No, the Eagles are 9-5, so technically, yes.
Technically, yes, they could.
So,
they
like-
could.
Okay,
Eagles would
so
have-
if the Eagles lose out, they could win the division, which would put the Eagles then where would they be out? They wouldn't be.
Out,
Yep.
out. Yeah,
They'd be out.
And we're talking if the Eagles were to lose out and be at 9-8, the Cowboys would get in because they'd be 9-7-1. They'd have
Yeah.
a half game lead because of the tie with Green Bay. But
Yep.
like, so it basically, if Philly, who does Philly play this week? I know. When we do the predictions this week, oh geez. So Philly's got the Commanders twice and the Bills once. So does anyone here think Philly doesn't win that division?
No, the Eagles are going to win that. And yeah, Joe, we pretty much it's pretty much determined. Like, there's only going to be one team from the East and one from the South in the NFC. That'll be the division winners.
Yeah, because I mean, basically, look, if the Eagles win this week, the Cowboys, for all intents and purposes, are eliminated. So then the only teams left, there'll be 9 teams technically left alive. If Detroit loses, and let's say Carolina, and then the Carolina thing is Carolina Bucks won't be decided probably till week 18, right? That might be the decider. But really, the Lions, I guess, if they lose this week, and the Bears win, they're technically not out, but they're really the only thing left is Green Bay and Detroit battling out. That's if the Bears beat the Packers, which I think they should at home this week on Saturday Night Football. But so the playoff picture in the NFC, and really you got to figure for the Packers, look at Micah Parsons being out with that torn ACL. That defense, last year when Hutch went down, we said this is the worry part. Last year when Hutch went down, like the Packers defense was still, or not the Packers, the Lions defense played lights out the next week against Minnesota. Remember that, Broski?
Oh yeah. Really, their entire defense stepped it up. When Hutch went down, I feel.
So if Green Bay can do that against the Bears this week, there's hope.
Yeah.
But and it was funny because just last week, Broski, if you remember, I was saying like Goody saved his job with the Parsons trade because they probably aren't a 9-win team coming in the last week without Parsons. They were probably like more like a 6-win team at that point, maybe a 7-win team, which made Packer fans mad. But whatever, Packer fans are always mad when you kind of give them an analytical truth bomb. Without Micah Parsons, they weren't a 9-win team going into this last week. Now without Micah Parsons, the question is, do the Packers collapse and then get overtaken by the Lions? Or can they at least win at least one more game, maybe against the Vikings or someone else? I mean, they're in trouble. And then when they get into the playoffs, what's that say about their playoff hopes with that defense now without Micah Parsons?
Yeah, and that's what I was going to add, Ken. It's fine. You can get by a few games in the regular season where it's really going to catch up to them, and they're going to see the biggest impact of that Micah Parsons loss is if they get to the playoffs. That's when it will really be exposed. And hey, let's not rule out that both the Packers and Lions. There's a good chance they lose this weekend. The Steelers are getting it together a little bit, and obviously the Packers are playing the Bears. Now for the Bears, it wasn't liking when I was hearing about Luther Burden's ankle, and with Rome already being out, most likely for the season, they really need Luther Burden to play.
I didn't hear it. What? Yeah, what'd you hear on Rome's foot injury? I know he re-aggravated it Sunday before kickoff.
Yeah, they're saying they're debating whether or not they're shutting him down for the rest of the season. Unfortunately,
wait until the playoffs.
honestly, they're sounding like it might be a lot more than that. Like regular season definitely, but they're sounding. Again, this is speculation, and nobody really knows the actual answer yet. To me, it sounded like he wouldn't be playing even if it was the playoffs. And Luther Burden has an ankle, so I think he's day to day. So hopefully it trends in the right direction for the Bears. I love Luther Burden. I think this guy's going to be a star.
It's funny because even with Luther Burden and maybe Romby now, you still got Jahadi Walker. We haven't really seen much, but we fell in love with the camp. Zach Eyes has played overall really well. He's close to being exceptional, minus that a drop or two. And the one drop in Washington, he'd still be running if he caught that ball.
And you'd throw Duvernay. You'd still have Duvernay you could throw out there. I mean, he had a catch last week.
And he's had some big catches throughout the year, Duvernay. They've used him sparingly, but they've used him appropriately. And the Bears still got the running game, so that's a scary thing about that. But with the Packers, man, with Micah going down, who's the next man up? And I'm sorry, the next man up is probably going to be nowhere near close to what Micah was.
Yeah, and let's not forget too that Wyatt. You remember their big defensive tackle, who was definitely their best D tackle. I mean, he was out, against the Bears the first time they played, but he's done for the year, so he's not going to be back either.
And then they've got more offensive line issues in Green Bay now. Zach Tom is down. He's questionable. Great guy. I met Zach Tom here in Florida when he was at, before the draft, they all come down here, go to Andrews Institute. And Andrews Institute is more than just where you come get your knee done or your back or your hip. Before the draft, they all do their physicals down here and a lot of workout sessions here for the NFL. And they all stay at Pensacola Beach at the hotels down there. And then they come in, and I ran into him in a shop, and we chatted for a bit before he got drafted. And the funny thing about Zach Tom was when we were talking, I said, hey, he's like, yeah, I'll probably be a 3rd or 5th round guy. I'll probably take me 2 to 3 years to break a starting lineup. He was right on both. Just very level-headed, nice guy. And I asked him, what team would you not want to go to? And the dude's from Louisiana, okay? And he's like, it's ironic. He said Green Bay. And his reason for the Packers wasn't because he didn't like the Packers or anything like that. It was strictly on the weather. He's like, I just don't want to be up there in the winter, right? And you got to laugh at that. In the back of my mind, I'm like thinking, and I haven't told him I'm a Bears fan yet, right? So in the back of my head, I'm thinking, good man, but what about like Buffalo, man? That weather gets pretty raunchy too. So yeah, it was just kind of like, dude was a good guy, and I really liked the guy. But
that's a cool story.
Yeah, and then he gets drafted by the Packers, and I was hoping I had actually picked him in our mock draft for the Bears, and the Packers picked just before the Bears did, in whatever the 3rd, 4th round. And I was like, damn, Packers got him. And I gotta hate the guy. But he's been their best lineman since they drafted him almost, and it sucks that he's going through the injuries right now. But that just goes to prove though, 3rd, 4th round offensive lineman can turn into a starting stud. And the kid had a good head on him. And that's that's rare. A lot of these guys have massive egos, but he was pretty legit about yeah, I'll probably go in the 3rd and 5th. It'll take me a year or two because it takes a while to learn the line and this, that, and the other. And dude was all over it, man. I really liked the guy. I was like, man, I was hoping the Bears would get him. I almost should send him a Packers helmet, see if he'd sign it for me. Because I like the dude. But I got my one Packers helmet here. I got my James Lofton. I paid $60 for it. I'm trying to get the whole division. I'm trying to get every team in the league actually. So I was looking at
Oh,
my
wow.
little collect. I was looking at my collection, realizing that the only team I had in the North, I had like over, almost what eight. Put this way, I have 16 full size Bears helmets, and that's before you even get to the minis. I'm like, damn, I have no one else in the North. And then I was looking at other divisions, like, damn, I got almost like their entire division. Like for the AFC West, I've got the whole division minus Kansas City. Like, how does that happen? The AFC North, I'm missing 2 teams. So I'm like, okay, I gotta start getting some of these other teams. So the first one was just a target of opportunity. I saw a Lofton mini for $60, so added that to the with his Hall of Fame description. That's the other thing. He's a Hall of Famer, so I'm like, I can. But yeah, it looks like Kenny Lofton. Sorry, bud, your Packers are going to lose this week.
Yeah, they need to pull this one out.
The schedule this week is weird too. Like we've got Thursday, no Friday games this week. We're not at the Friday game yet. No Friday game. Just Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. Right? That's So, because now we're getting that cold, weird part of the schedule. I don't know how I feel about the way the NFL is scheduled, does their scheduling. And I'm really not digging for Christmas Amazon Prime. I mean, I guess Amazon or not Prime, Amazon Prime Netflix game. It's like,
Yeah, the Netflix game. I don't have Netflix, so yeah, I'm not gonna be watching that.
get with Woody Band and get the IPTV, and you'll have it, no problem. So yeah, we got
Slow.
Bears right now. Here's the thing. This is the disrespect the Bears get. Bears are 10-4. Packers are 9-4-1. Last game literally came down to the last play of the game. It's a home game for the Bears, so that you think we get 3, right? The line is Packers 1.5. That is the line for the game from Vegas. They're favoring the Packers by a point.
The Packers are giving 1.5 points.
Yeah, it's -1.5. Yeah. The over under.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty much a pick 'em. I mean,
come on though. You think if to pick them, you would just say Bears 3, right? Because that means you're just giving the Bears their field goal for being the home team. They're literally picking the Packers to beat the Bears at home. I'm just like, okay, no respect. We go to the Lions game really quick because that's the other, Bucks Panthers is going to be huge right now. The Bucks are 3-point favorites in Carolina. The Eagles are 6.5 point favorites for at the Commanders. The Seahawks are 1.5 point favorites at home against the Rams. Let's see, Chiefs are out. Titans are out. Those games don't matter. Vikings Giants doesn't matter. Broncos are 3-point favorites at home against the Jags. So that one, here we go. Lions are 7-point favorites against the Steelers.
wow.
Niners are 6-point favorites in Indianapolis. Interesting. Ravens are 3-point favorites at home against the Pats. Vegas just kind of kills me with some respect. They should
Hold on. So Vegas or the Ravens are 3-point favorites against the Pats
at home. Yep, and then the Cowboys are 1.5 favorites at home against the Chargers. The Bears are dogs at home, leading the division. Gotta love it.
Cowboys are favored against the Chargers.
Yep, by 1.5. No, the seed is not clinched. But look at the Rams, and that's the thing. The Rams play the Seahawks. So if the Seahawks win, if the Bears win, the Seahawks win. The Bears, by virtue of tiebreak, own the Rams for some reason. So if the Rams lose and the Bears win, we would go from the 2 to the 1 seed. that's going to be the thing that would keep the Bears playing in
Yeah.
Week 18 is that one
Com-
seed.
it's conference record. They have a better conference record than the Rams.
Ooh.
Yeah, right now. Well, no, we're both 6-3.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Then it's common opponents.
Yeah.
it would have to be common opponents. Yeah,
Oh man.
because in the division, the Rams are 3-1. We're 1-3. Hoping to make it 3-3 right by the end of the year. At home, we're 5-1. Away, we're 5-3. So yeah, I mean, Rams and Bears are pretty similar, except for the point differential. They're plus 159. We're plus 27.
Yeah, they're
The
both going to be
Bucs are
missing
right now
a
the
key
only
wide
playoff-
receiver.
Here's a funny thing: the Bucs and the Panthers. The Panthers are minus 53 in point differential, and the Bucs are minus 27. Everyone else is positive. Wow, the Seahawks are plus
Say that
160
again, Ken, if you don't mind, about the Panthers. What's their point differential?
minus 53,
Exactly.
and the
Yeah,
Bucs
they're-
are minus 27.
And
Yeah.
they still have a winning record, which is crazy.
No, they're
Like,
both 7-7. They're both.
oh
7-7.
well, I mean, to be 500 with minus 53 point differential is pretty good, dude.
Well, like the Bears are like we were negative for the longest time. We just turned the corner this week didn't hurt. In fact, this week is most of it. The Bears
Yeah.
right now, the Bears are plus 27, but
Yeah.
because of that week 2 loss, we were negative the whole year almost.
Yeah, but you weren't negative 53 though.
Yeah. They
No,
were
we were like
negative single
negative 20
digits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you negative 53. That's bad. But I just for the sake of this playoff thing is getting interesting. Like, so if the Bears were to, which realistically they can move into the driver's seat this week, right? If they were to win that for number 1 seed, and the Rams go to number 2 seed, like, who would the opening game, the wild card games, the Rams would have to play against the number 7 seed? Who would that? So that would be the Rams and the Packers.
That would be most likely the Packers or the Lions, right? If the Lions were to overtake them,
Yeah.
then
Ooh.
fine. But yeah, probably the Packers. So here's the weird thing. So the Rams are at Seattle, at Atlanta, at home against the Cardinals. The only game I think they could theoretically drop would be this week with the Seahawks, right? So if they drop with the Seahawks and the Bears win out, the Bears would win the number 1 seed based on whatever those tiebreakers are. They're giving the Bears that. It might be. Let me look at who they've played that we've played and see, because they beat the Ravens. We lost to the Ravens, but we beat the Eagles, and they
It's
lost.
conference record. But also, there's the whole thing of, it's probably not likely, but the Cardinals, they're in their division. Like you never know, they could play spoiler at the end of the season, take a game from them.
Well, they
I mean,
could.
I don't think Atlanta is going to, but I think, they could. They have an outside shot. Is all I'll say. I'm not gonna.
So it gets interesting though in the terms
Especially
of
without Devontae Adams.
The bit with no Devontae, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let's say they lose this week and the Bears take over the stadium. Let's say then the Bears go and they beat the Niners in San Fran, then they'd be basically week 18 would be win for the number 1 seed. If they didn't get the number 1 seed and it stayed the 2 seed, then they would open the playoffs against probably Green Bay.
See, and I don't want that. I don't want to see the Packers and the Bears in the wild card round. Like, I want it to be a divisional round game. Like, maybe even, well, I don't know if the Packers have the firepower anymore to go to the NFC Championship game.
Let me see here. I mean, look at the Niners. If they lose to the Bears, that'd make them, let's say, 10-5, 11-5. The Packers, if they win out, could get to the 6th seed, depending on what San Francisco does. If the Packers were to win out, see, it gets weird because you're not, the 1 through 4 are locked because of the division winners. So you got the 5 seed right now is 11 wins, the 6 seed's at 10 wins, and then the Packers are the 7 seed at 9 wins. So right now, if the Packers, if it were to end today, the Packers would become the Chicago, where they would be favorited again because Vegas hates Chicago.
Yeah.
And it
Even
was
without
something.
even without Micah Parsons, without Christian Watson, without their
Yeah.
offensive linemen, and they're still 3-point favorites
Yeah.
in Chicago.
They're 1.5 favorites in Chicago.
Yeah, I mean they're taking history in last game into account. You know, I mean the Bears need to prove they can beat them finally. I mean, to me, it's that
I
simple.
mean, think about it. If this were to hold true, that means the Bears and Packers would play each other 3 times in 6 weeks.
Yeah,
That's crap. I hate
that playoff game. That playoff game is going to be emotional, though. Like, there's going to be,
Yep.
there's going to be some fights. There's going to be some. There's going to be some. Yeah, there's going to be a lot on the line there, dude. I would rather see it in a divisional round, but
Yeah, I'm curious
And
to see how the
that's-
Vikings are going to
that's
impact
the
this
point.
because they play the Lions and then the Packers to end the
Yeah.
season. Yeah.
And look at it this way. If Fred brings up an aha moment, if somehow if the Bears stay in the 2 seed, the Bears and the Lions get in the 7 seed, the Bears and Lions play in Chicago back-to-back weeks. Like at that point, Detroit might as well not even go home. They might as well just play week 18, stay in
stay in the
Chicago.
hotel. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much, because they'd be right back in Chicago the very next week.
But do you want to see that though? I mean,
No, hell no. I think
yeah,
that's
I don't
stupid.
either.
I mean that's terrible. You have to see a team. I mean, because look, if you're not you're not going to be the number, then why even play week 18 at that point, except for the Lions to get in? But anyway, you look at it, we're going to have NFC North games the way it looks like right now, week 18, and then we're going to get another division matchup in the wild card round if the Bears stay in the number 2 seed. The only way you don't get it is if the Bears are either the number 1 seed or they fall to like the 3 seed, right? Meaning that Philadelphia would say we're to win out, and the Bears, because the Bears own the tiebreak with Philly. So if the Bears would say go 2-1 and end up with 12 wins, and the Eagles win out, well, guess what? The Bears are still the 2 seed. So really, the Bears only have to win 2 games to secure the 2 seed. Be guaranteed the 2 seed if they win 2 games.
But just for the sake of argument, like what would happen hypothetically if the Bears were to lose out? Would they drop down to like what's the lowest they could go?
Well, that's where it gets. So it's all still within the NFC North. If the Bears for some reason lose out and end up at 10 wins, and Green Bay wins out, they win the division. Okay. And if Detroit wins out, then Green Bay and Detroit would go to the playoffs and the Bears would miss.
Oh,
Yeah,
Because
so
Green
it
Bay
really
thinks
just
now-
depends on what the other teams do as well. So, like, if the Bears lose out, it's going to depend on what Detroit and Green Bay do. So,
Well,
like,
if
it's
Green Bay wins out, let's say, then they would be a 12-win team, right? Because they have 9 right now. If the Lions win out, they'd be 11-6. The Bears would be 10-4. I mean, there you go. Or 10-7. So yeah, the Bears have to win at least one more game.
yeah. If I was going to say, if the Bears win this week, do they clinch a playoff spot?
If the Bears win and Detroit loses, they clinch
yep.
a spot.
Damn. The North is going to come down to the wire, huh?
But what sucks is the way it's playing out right now. It looks like no matter what happens, that wild card round is going to be an NFC North game, regardless. But here's the funny thing, and this dawns on me as we're talking about it: the fact that here we are coming into Week 16, and we're talking about the scenarios and that how the Bears are going to, if they win at least 1 or 2 more games, are the number 1 or number 2 seed in the NFC. Who thought we'd be having this conversation when camp started and we started doing prediction shows? And we'll have to pull up the tape so I can make the Packer fans look stupid when John Dorn's like, the Bears aren't even a 5-win team.
Yeah.
Really, John Dorn? And Rob and all those other guys, all the Bears aren't going to win shit. And the Lions fans, all the Bears aren't shit. They're not going to win anything. Guys, we're top of the division right now. Having this discussion.
I was going to say, go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say, I said that I thought the Bears were a 7 to 10 win team. I thought if things went right, 10 wins would be doable. And I mean, they've already got that. So they're playing with house money at this point, dude. Like,
Yeah, I
if
mean,
the Niners-
I never would have thought they were going to be a 10, 11, possibly 12 win team. You know, I said 8 or 9 wins, I'd be thrilled. Like that'd be a huge step in the right direction. Yeah. And then to switch it up a little, Dorn did say that the Packers were going to beat the Broncos by 12 points. And instead, they made Bo Nix look like John Elway.
Real quick, so Cam brings up an interesting point. If the Niners lose out, which is possible, the Niners' schedule is Colts, Bears, Seahawks. Possible they lose out. If the Niners lose out, so if the Niners lose and the Bears win this week, we also clinch a playoff spot. Because if the Niners were to lose out, right, and Green Bay wins just one more game, or wins 2 of their last 3, which is possible even with losing to the Bears, and Detroit wins 2 of their next 3, even if they lose to the Bears in the final week, all 3 NFC North teams can get in, and then the Niners are done. That's one other possibility. Thank you, Cam, for bringing that up. So that's a possibility too. So it's basically between the Niners, the Packers, and the Lions are the 3 teams to watch what they do. And then, of course, the Bears and the Rams, if they want to keep where they're at, need to kind of take care of business as well. But those are the 5 teams in that play. Now, of course, the other movement being Carolina and the Bucs. So,
yep.
What about the AFC? Like, how are the Colts? Are they done after last week?
Colts are not done. Colts are 8-6. Right now, the 7th seed is 9-5. So right now, Denver's clinched. New England's got 11 wins. Jax has 10 wins. Pittsburgh is 8 wins. But when you look at the Ravens and you look at Pittsburgh, division winner goes in, right? So right now, Baltimore's on the out looking in. When you go to now, 3 teams from the South, go figure, right? The Jags, the Texans, and the Colts. The Bills are at 10 wins. The Colts are 2 games behind the Bills. If the Bills win 1 more, and the Bucs, and let's say Houston loses and Indy loses, there's still battle there. Let me see what Indy's final schedule is real quick. I'll bring it up real quick. But right now, Indy is a game behind Houston on the outside looking in, and the Colts have the Niners, the Jags, and the Texans.
Oh,
Yeah, they're done. They're toast.
they gotta beat the Texans, but they gotta beat the Niners first. They gotta take care of business this week. And Phillip Rivers didn't look terrible last week. I mean, like, he didn't light the world on fire, but I mean, he had him in that game. They lost by a field goal, like,
So similar situation there, right? It's a similar situation as what you're looking at the NFC. Because really Pittsburgh, if they win the division they're in, and Baltimore's probably out, right? If Baltimore wins out, they can get to 10-7. I don't know who has a high tie breaks between Baltimore and Houston, but if Houston wins 1 game, their worst they can finish would be 10-7. Indy, if they win 2 of their last 3, they could be at 10-7. So there could be some tie break scenarios there with Houston, Indy, and Baltimore. The worst Jacksonville can finish right now is 10-7. So kind of like the Bears, win 1 more game, and if someone else loses, they probably clinch a spot. New England, if they win a game, they probably clinch. Buffalo, if they, so it's a little more. It's not as dirty as the NFC, but almost as dirty in terms of that final position. A lot of teams eliminated early this year compared to most years, though, because dude, there's a lot. Usually, you don't get this many eliminated teams by week 15. We're at week 15. Here are all the teams eliminated right now: the Giants, the Cardinals, the Commanders, the Saints, the Falcons, the Vikings, the Titans, the Raiders, the Browns, the Jets, the Bengals, the Dolphins, who officially were eliminated last night, and the Chiefs. And you could add teams this week.
Yeah. I was going to say that Bucks Panthers matchup will feature the top 2 rookie wide receivers in the NFL, in Emeka Egbuka and Tet McMillan.
Yeah. Abuka's lighting the world on fire, dude.
He did, and then he got injured, and then he kind of was slow coming back, and then he's picked it back up. But Yeah, well, I
Yeah,
remember when
but I
they
mean, for
drafted
a
him,
rookie, like he's having a hell of a rookie season, dude. Like
when they
he's
drafted him,
showing that he's going to be that guy.
when they drafted Ibuka, I was like, holy crap,
Yeah,
holy crap.
yeah, they hit
You
on
know,
that pig.
and really, look
Ted
at the
McMillan
Bears,
looks
man.
good too,
Like,
though, which is a lot of people were down on Ted McMillan. They said that he didn't have like the ability to separate at this level and this and that. There was a lot of knocks on him when he got picked, but he's acquitted himself pretty well so far too.
I would say this year's draft class overall in the NFL has been a very good draft class. You're not hearing too many busts. Like, look at even the Bears, like Trapio and Monangai and Burden and Loveland, all produced. Like, can you think of a team where they're going, "Oh yeah, our pick was a complete absolute bust"? I can't off the top of my head. None are really coming to mind. Like
Uh,
everyone's been,
Jack Betch, the Raiders' second round pick, is looking like he's not going to be very good.
hey, look at we got a Jag-off here today. What's up, Jag-off? Yeah, Jackwagon. Good to
I mean,
see you,
that's
brother.
not a first round pick, but a second round pick, you expect them to produce, and Jack Betch
Yeah, but
hasn't really done much.
I mean, but for most teams, like this draft class seems to be a pretty decent draft class so far. You're
Yeah,
not hearing a lot
I
of like,
don't disagree with you. It's just that when you're talking about, oh, look at all these draft picks that are panning out, and then inevitably you got to look at the ones that aren't working out, and it just so happens that it's the Raiders. It's like,
they're
you know,
not. But even the ones that aren't working out are not completely egregious. Like they're decent. They're not like dog
yeah,
shit.
yeah, maybe other teams, but Jack Betch has not looked good, man. I'm telling you. And
No,
Broski called it. Like I was
who's looked
holding out
good
hope for Jack Betch.
outside
Like,
of Max Crosby? No one has looked good at the Raiders this year.
yeah,
Yeah.
Bowers has done all right considering he was injured for half the season.
Genty's had moments.
Well, Joe, I'm glad you remember that how high I was on Abuka and how much I was bashing your boy Jack Beck or whatever.
Yeah,
And,
Jack Bet.
and
You were on Jack Betch, and I thought like, let's give the kid a shot. You know what I mean? But it looks like, I mean, he has a couple catches this year, but he doesn't. It doesn't look like he's going to be an impact kind of guy. It looks like he's going to be like a fourth or fifth receiver at best.
hey, Cam's gonna be driving up from Phoenix, or you're gonna be driving down to Phoenix to take care of some business there.
Yeah,
Yeah, bet.
he does need a quarterback, but we'll see. I mean, he's a rookie, dude. Like he wouldn't be the first rookie to have a bad season and then get it together.
Absolutely.
Okay, I just saw where Ken is. He's at the ER. His sister had an allergic reaction to an infusion. Ouch. Hopefully everything's good there. This is why I don't check Messenger first thing in the morning. So I was like, man, where's Ken? We haven't heard from him. So I double checked. Hopefully he'll be back tomorrow. Hey, Yinzer, you got to be a happy man after the old man led your team to victory yesterday. I mean, they're look at Steelers are still in this thing. I mean, they're 8-6, winning the division. Let's just check out the Steelers schedule really quick. Since we got a Jag-off here.
Yeah.
Let's see how the Jag-off's team is going to do. All right, you Jag-off. You got the Lions this week, so you better win. Then you got the Browns, so you better win. Ooh, and then you finish off with the Ravens. Ooh. Let's see what the Ravens have.
That's going to be the
Ravens.
division championship right there. That week
Dude,
18 game.
The Ravens. What the hell? I just wanted their schedule.
They play the Packers, I think, one of these last 3 games.
The Ravens the Ravens got the Pats and then the Packers.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, if they win their next 2 games, let me see how that game go against the Steelers the first time. They lost. So if oh my god, if the Ravens win, they have let's say they oh my god. This could be fun. I wonder
I think that the Ravens could theoretically steal one off the Pats, but I don't know about beating Green Bay though.
Oh, they could beat Green Bay.
I'm sure they could, but I don't know. Like I think if they're going to lose one of those games, I actually think the Pats are more like settled because the Pats are in, dude. They're in the playoffs no matter what. Like Green Bay's fighting for their life.
That's a tie break. I think we might have a tie break. No, they both beat the Dolphins. So what's the tie break then between Baltimore and Pittsburgh? That's going to be interesting. Let's see what their conference records are. Probably.
Did you guys see that report that said after the last game that Joe Burrow's like he was unhappy in Cincinnati and he wants to have fun playing football? Like,
It
Yep.
looks
created
like
this huge thing.
Pittsburgh has a better conference record at 7-3, and Baltimore's 5-5. Ooh, that's gonna be interesting. That could be interesting. I've
Yeah.
seen this Burrow stuff, but then I saw that Burrow said, "Dude, this is clickbait. I'm not going anywhere. They're not trying to shop him. He's got a no trade, so you have to request a trade." And I saw a direct quote from Burrow saying he doesn't want to go. But I've seen some of the stupidest trade scenarios. Some Packers fan, it was a Packers fan, said the Bears should trade. It was the Bears get Burrow, the trade Caleb. Was it Caleb and Loveland plus 2 firsts for Burrow? I'm like, dude, you're smoking.
Yeah, that's stupid.
The Bears would never.
I saw
trade.
one though that where it was like because if the Raiders end up with the number 1 overall pick this year, I saw one where they give the number 1 overall pick to Cincinnati plus like 1 additional first, since this first is worth like 2 firsts or something like that. And I was like, ooh, like I would do that.
Well,
I would give up.
there's
I would
big
give up the
news.
number 1 overall and a first next year for Burrow. No problem.
Arch Manning is staying in college next year. He announced that yesterday.
Good.
There'll be no
He
Arch
needs to.
Manning in this. Yep. So right now, I mean, you guys are the number 2 pick overall, unless you fuck it up or the Giants fuck it up or the Titans. All 3 of you are two-win teams. So I guess it's the race to see who does not get the 3 wins.
Well, and we play the
You-
Giants, so we control our own destiny in that aspect. Like we can lose to the Giants real easy, but then it's just the Titans. We need the Titans to get one more win.
And the Titans have threatened. Oh, we lost the Bros. The Titans have threatened here the last couple of weeks too to win a game. So, yeah, the draft that was kind of the Arch Manning sweepstakes off the way of the year. Look, if you're Arch Manning, you're going. Let me see. I'm either going to go to New York, which I could go. Hey, my uncle was in New York, right? He had a good career, but New York's not drafting a quarterback. They got the quarterback. So, okay, I'm going to go to either Las Vegas or Tennessee. Tennessee's not drafting a quarterback. Vegas needs a quarterback. Cleveland. Is Cleveland drafting a quarterback?
That's an interesting question. Do they see what they what they think is
Is Shador gonna be
something
the
in
guy?
Shador?
And then the Jets are probably drafting a quarterback.
Yeah,
They might-
the Jets most likely are drafting a quarterback, but with
So-
Shador, like I don't think Shakur has done all that bad considering he was a 5th round pick and what like he came into the season, they were already pretty much eliminated from the playoffs. Like
We got a few quick minutes. Let me put it this way: here are the bottom 10, the first 10 picks. They're not necessarily the bottom 10 because the Rams have number 10 pick because of the Falcons. All right, you got the Giants, the Raiders, the Titans, the Browns, the Jets, the Cardinals, the Saints, Commanders, the Bengals, the Rams. Of all those 10 teams, the only teams I think that would be drafting a quarterback could theoretically be the Jets,
the Raiders
and the Raiders. That's it.
and maybe the Cardinals. There's been speculation that they want to get out of Kyler Murray's contract and they want to move on. So
if you're Arch Manning, you're like, I have a 50-50 shot probably from the top 2 quarterbacks drafted that I'm going to end up in Vegas or the Jets. Wrong New York team, buddy. Sorry, I'm not coming out. Like if it was a Giants and he knew he was going to get drafted by the Giants, I think he'd come out. Hey, my uncle played there. There's a family history with the Giants. I'd be well received by the Giants. Whatever. The Jets? Oh no. This is the Mannings doing the Manning things. Interesting. I don't know. Allow him to take a quarterback. The drama would be Maury proud. Oh God, yeah. I think Shador might be the start, but I mean,
at this point, I think Shador's earned himself a year. Like I think he's earned himself a full starting season to see what he can do.
I
I
mean,
would
because then
use
you get
that
out of
first.
the
I would
top.
use that high draft pick somewhere else and load up. Give him some talent. Maybe go get a wide receiver. You have a good running back in Cleveland. It looks like Quinshawn Judkins is the real deal. You have a tight end. You have Jerry Judy, but you could use another receiver. You could probably use some offensive line help.
Yeah, because I
Um,
mean, after the Rams at 11, you got the Dolphins. They're sticking with Tua. The Chiefs aren't going anywhere. The Vikings aren't happy with JJ. The Cowboys aren't getting a quarterback. The Ravens aren't. The Panthers aren't. The Lions aren't. Then the Jets are picking again at 18 because the Colts traded away their pick. The Bucks are got Baker. The Pittsburgh could use a quarterback at 20.
mhm. And there will be some guys there for him. Some guys
I mean
that
that, or maybe they try to trade up. But that's the interesting thing now. Talking about the Steelers again. Is Rodgers said this is it? Is this really it, or has Rodgers got another year in him? So Manning staying in college for another year, you saw that kind of come.
yeah, I think he played pretty well at the end of the season, but I think he needs another year in college to really set himself apart from the other quarterbacks. If to really build his draft stock. I mean, he probably is a first round pick just based on his name, but I don't really have that much confidence that if he came out this year that he would do well. I think he needs another year in college.
Could you imagine when Manning comes out, he'll be the third Manning to be drafted in the first round? Well, there wasn't Arch Manning. What round did Arch Manning get drafted? Do you remember that at all?
No, I think Arch retired before I was even born.
No, you were born before we were both. Let me see when Arch
I don't
Manning.
remember. I don't remember ever watching Arch play.
Look, Archie Manning. I look up Arch. I get the young kid. Oh, there we go. Archie Manning. Let's see where he was drafted. Oh my God! If Arch Manning goes in the first round, he'll be. You ready for this one? The fourth Manning to be drafted in the first round. Arch
It's a
Manning was
royal,
a second overall pick.
yeah, it's a royal bloodline at this point.
Jeez, that family.
Yeah, dude.
That is
So
crazy. And Arch Manning's already got a national ad campaign as a college player. It's ridiculous. Just ridiculous. Uh,
I could see the Steelers maybe going with that dude from LSU, Nussmeier.
mhm.
He fits kind of what they want to do.
It'll be interesting to see what happens there, though. First off, they got to get the playoffs, so Yinsner is going to be going. This is crunch time, but I think this playoff picture is a little more after this week. After this week, I think it's done or almost done. I mean, you got some division winners to look at, but if the Steelers beat the Lions this week, like I said, their only hope is to catch the Packers, and I actually think they could catch the Packers with them losing basically the heart and soul of their defense. But what sucks about that is if the Bears stay in the 2 seed, we get back-to-back weeks of Bears Lions, week 18 and the playoff. It's just like, oh. And the
That's
Bears is
bad.
like,
That's bad for the Bears. Like,
well, it's either way, any case, it's bad for the Bears. If let's say you play hard week 18, you beat the Lions and kick them out of the playoffs, but now you get the Packers the next week. So it'll be your third time in 6 weeks.
yeah,
It's
it's kind of a
almost
shit
like,
sandwich for the Bears either way.
and what sucks is like you can't really. There's no chance for you to drop down to the third seed because you own the tiebreak with Philly. So for the Bear, and you're not going to drop down. I mean, if the Bear, I mean, you're not really going to drop down to the fourth seed either. So I mean, the Bears are
So
either
if the Bears went 1-2, if the Bears went 1-2 over the last 3 games, so they have 11 wins, they would still get in, right? Could that drop them down?
maybe it depends. If Philly wins out, they could get to 12 wins. So then yes, they could. They would be the 3 seed. They won't drop it. So for the winner of the NFC North, it's you're either going to be the 1, the 2, or the 3 seed. It looks like, but if it's the Bears, we own the tiebreak with Philly, and we own the tiebreak with the Rams. The Bears control their own destiny in terms of getting in. As far as the 1 seed, they just need a single Rams loss. It looks like.
Man,
It gets
sounds
stupid.
like you really got to go for
Hey, we're over
go for that
time,
number
guys.
1 seed.
I just realized we're over time. JB's up next. Thanks for being here with us. We're over time. You guys have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.